Hi guys, now I'm in a very nice condominium in Kuala Lumpur where I'll be visiting a subscriber. His name is Rob. He has a very nice home audio system. So it's nice not only from the amazing equipment that he has, but the way he has set up. There's been a lot of thought put into how the room integrates with the rest of the living space, and the tweaks that he has done, and how it looks aesthetically very nice as well. So I'll show you around, and Rob will bring us for a tour of his place. Hi Rob.
Hi Terry, come in.
Thank you.
So, let me show you around. So, we're in my apartment right now, where this is the living area. On that side, obviously the dining area, and here is our kitchen area. But if you turn around, then the other side of the living room is my little den, the audiophile system. But let me start by telling you a little bit more about the room, because that is very big and important for us audiophiles. Of course, if you look at the ceiling, I've managed to take out the plaster ceiling slab and basically install these panels, which are made of 1 centimeter thick felt with MDF slats straight up against the concrete slab with a bit of airspace, about 5 to 8 centimeters, which really helps with the acoustics in the room. The plaster ceiling has always not been good in my situation. Then coming a bit closer into this direction, I made everything symmetrical. So to begin with, on this left side, this was open. So since this is a concrete wall and that is a concrete wall, since the beginning, I had to put a concrete wall here to make everything fully symmetrical. But the biggest trick I tried to pull is to make a hybrid room, proper normal living room, but at the same time a really good room to listen to music, is with these sliding doors. So when it's time to listen, or when it's time for me and my wife to sit here and watch movies, we close these panels. We close these almost solid wooden doors. Not only helps that to make sure the bedrooms don't suffer from any noise at night, it also creates a very nice 100% symmetrical cocoon to listen to music. At the back, you see diffusers. I just painted them and installed them to the wall. And on the side here, what you'll see is, let's take this side. You see again some felt for a little bit of absorption. Then this part is a little bit thicker absorption because that happens to be the first reflection point. And then we have a big acoustic painting. Behind here, this is acoustically transparent fabric. Behind here is 5 centimeters of space where you can either put absorption or diffusion. So actually in my case, this part is still absorption, still functioning as a first reflection absorption point. And here actually I just bought some very cheap bamboo slats that I made into an irregular slab, if you will. And I just have it here because after fine-tuning I realized that absorption here, but then back to reflection here was just the right balance. Okay, so to show you a little bit what I've done behind the fabric. Normally this is sold with foam to be an absorber. Here is still absorption. But because it's covered by a cloth, you can do anything here. If it's not bright enough, I theoretically could put a mirror here, glass, metal. In this case, I tweaked and listened, and instead of having this felt, it was nicer to have some reflective. So from a gardening center, very affordable, I just bought some bamboo slats because it's a natural material. It's nicely irregular. I just taped it together, screwed it here. And the good thing is the last 10% of your acoustics in your room, you cannot design on a computer, you cannot calculate it. It's trial and error. And many times we glue stuff to the wall and then we regret it. So what I really like about this painting, it's sort of a black box. Behind I can play between absorption up to a certain level, reflection, I can make it more reflective, less reflective. This really allows to stay flexible, which I think is very important in the room, especially here for this first reflection area and before and after that. And of course you can also change this. If you're fed up with it, you can just order a new print, and that keeps everything nicely integrated in the living room environment. I had some leftover absorbers I put there on the floor, but I think roughly that is a nice summary of what I did here to the room, and most importantly, try to integrate it into a normal house, even an apartment like this, to have optimum listening room dimensions. Everything is symmetrical. Treatment is there, but it doesn't look ugly or funny, at least in my mind. And at the same time, I can push back those doors and you still can enjoy a normal living room, a normal living situation. As you can see, we have kids. I even have a playpen here. So that's what I wanted to achieve, a really hybrid situation, normal living, but also as best as possible, a listening room. All right, let me show you the specifics of my setup. This is my modem router coming in from the internet service provider. And from there, my system starts already. It's a internet filter from a company called Sensis, which converts the regular internet signal through RJ45 Ethernet cable into SFP. The converters, they're done with linear power supplies, with DC blockers. I'll tell you a bit more about that later. This continues all the way to my streamer. And for now, this is still the Grim MU1 from the Netherlands. I have another streamer from the Netherlands coming. It's called Olympus. You can imagine I'm very eager to receive that piece of electronics. The streamer then feeds the Lampezator Horizon, which is equipped with some new old stock tubes, which is a very nice improvement over the stock tubes. So some of these are from close to World War II and from the 1960s. Very interesting for me to discover this and to play around with that. From the DAC, we go over to the other side, where the DAC feeds into my preamplifier, which is the Boulder 3010. It has a separate power supply right here, which feeds into the main unit. And the preamp then feeds the power amp, which is the Boulder 3060, a stereo amplifier that is known for having a lot of power. It can produce peaks up to 6,000 watts, and it produces effortless energy here in the room. Everything is connected through Synergistic Research Galileo Discovery cables, and ultimately the power amp feeds the loudspeakers, which are the Focal Stella Utopia Evos. And an interesting thing about this speaker is the 13-inch woofer, which is not active, but it is a field coil driver. It has an active magnet, and this is the power supply or the regulator for the woofer. And what it does, it changes the characteristics of the magnet, because normal drivers, obviously, they have just a fixed magnet, but for this driver, it can change the dynamics, the power of the magnet to produce even lower lows, and if it has to play higher up to 220 hertz, it can be a bit more agile. So that is the speakers. Then I'll show you my bass traps in the corner. In my pursuit of keeping everything living room-like, instead of having huge cylinders in every corner, I discovered this product from PSI Audio. And they're active bass traps. You just connect them to a power plug, and they really convert this corner into a black hole, if you will. So by switching it on and off through an app while playing music straight from the listening position, you can really feel how this does its job. It really absorbs the bass, it becomes much, much tighter. And yeah, this is a really good trick, because I know a lot of people, especially if you have a fully enclosed room, they struggle with bass, lingering notes, bloat, flabby bass. This really did the trick for me. So that's one of the, maybe not tweaks, but one of the treatments that for me now are completely compulsory.
Yesterday we had the demo to
Yes.
do the back-to-back with and without.
Yes.
Definitely made a lot of difference. It really cleaned up the bass. There was no more of the bass problems that you had when you turn it off.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
Yeah, that's right, Terry.
Definitely work.
I'm glad you heard the difference, because there's a lot of discussion in the audiophile world. Does it work or not?
Definitely it works.
Your ears will tell you.
And there's two, yeah? So one on the
Yes, one in each corner. If you have an enclosed room, usually you have to have 4 in the back too. But that's the bass traps. One other thing is, how do I filter my power? I have a dedicated line coming in from my breaker panel, which does not have a socket in a wall, but it goes out and then is like a snake's tongue split into 2, and is currently feeding 2 Puritan PSM 156 power distributors. For my power amp, I basically go direct into the wall. I still go through the PSM 156, but for my front end gear, I have a different solution. The dedicated line first goes into a DC blocker. That obviously takes care of all the DC that's on the line, the DC current. The DC filter then connects to an isolation transformer. Again, this is only for the front end gear. This is a 4 kilovolt model. This then goes to the other PSM 156 from Puritan, which is basically the distribution block that also takes care of some star grounding and some other techniques to keep everything clear and clean. And from there, all my front end gear is powered. I had a TV in the center of my, in between the speakers, like most people have. And if you allow me to grab my remote here for a second, but I switched from a fixed TV to a projector screen. Maybe that's something others can consider, because with this screen, which is 110 inch, you can have a really, really large TV in the same place where you listen to your music without having to be stuck with a big flat screen in between your speakers, having to put diffusion in front when you listen, or putting blankets. I know I've been there, I've done that in the past. And I just put a ultra short throw projector in the middle for when we watch music, watch movies at night when we're not listening. So this way, also coming back to the hybrid philosophy, I wanted optimum acoustics for listening. And you cannot, if you really want to get to the best of the best, you cannot have a flat screen TV in the center. So that's why I came up with this. I can still enjoy movies with my kids, with my wife, and when it's not in use, I can fold it back almost like a convertible. When the sun's not there, you just put up the hood again. Same here, I can just take it down and we have optimum listening room situation again. I even have a separate distribution block for the TV component, so when I really want to listen, I just flick everything off with one switch of a button, so whatever noise that's creating is not a problem. The audio system again is on a fully dedicated line, but just in case you want to switch everything off.
Can you share with the audience like how much difference? Because I see a lot of emphasis is on clean power distribution.
Yes, yes.
So how much of a difference has that made to your system?
Okay, yeah. If we talk about clean, I want to start with the internet signal. I always thought it was just ones and zeros, right? It's digital streaming, so how can it be different? Well, turns out that a lot of noise and other gunk is fed into our equipment. So my first real big discovery into getting a lot of better sound when you talk about filtering and clean power internet is, I'd say, at least 15 to 20% improvement from getting the right internet filtering. You may want to experiment with whatever brands are out there. I've known people who tried this and said, look, this is getting close to very expensive solutions that are tens and tens of thousands of ringgits, or 10, 15,000 euros. This has really been it for me. So check out this if you really want to see a big improvement. It was really wow. Then, yeah.
There's two ends for this as well, right? So this one end on the router side, and then there's another.
Yeah. So if I give you a bit more detail about it, well, first of all, I also put a DC blocker on my router itself. But the system I'm talking about is a RJ45 cable coming into a small converter. The converter is powered by a linear power supply. Then again, DC blocked to power this tiny little thing. It converts the signal from RJ45 to SFP.
Fiber, yeah.
Yes. Well, this is actually a copper SFP cable, which sounds better than fiber, interestingly enough.
Oh, interesting.
Because normally you'd say, oh, fiber, it cannot carry signal, it's just light. This sounds better.
Okay.
So make sure you keep an open mind and keep trying for what really is best. And here actually it's the exact same thing but opposite, to have the SFP cable reconverted into RJ45, because that's what most streamers accept. And the same thing, powered by a linear power supply, DC blocker. And later when my Olympus arrives, this SFP can go directly into the Olympus, so this reconversion stage can be omitted in the future. And everything is also on footers if you talk about tweaks. I have acrylic platforms here, and I have little footers from a European company called Acoustic Audio Image. That always gives a nice bit of clarity, but footers especially, try to get some on demo to try them first, because, your mileage may vary.
I saw also the isoacoustic.
Yes, on the isoacoustic, also under the speakers, that made a nice difference, especially in the bass and the soundstage. To complete your question, Terry, about the difference in terms of the filtering of both internet and power, I'd say the internet was 15 to 20%. Then once I start using the DC blocker plus isolation transformer for all my front end gear, so except power, amp, that was easily another 15 to 20%. That really made the music so much more enjoyable. The proverbial blacker backgrounds, there's just no noise, it's just so much more pleasant. If there was even a hint of harshness in my system, that has absolutely gone. I can play Red Hot Chili Peppers at almost maximum levels now, which I couldn't really do in the past. It wasn't horrible, but it went from here to here, and that's also something I really recommend everybody to look into. The power, it makes more difference in the music than maybe it makes sense logically, but that's really what I've experienced. That try to get your hands on some demo pieces from a friend or a dealer and try what it does for you, even though you may think your power is already quite good. So yeah.
Yeah, I had the chance to listen to Rob's system.
Yep.
Even at really loud levels, everything is very, very clear, and you can feel the power coming out effortlessly from the system. It's really amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, Terry.
Well done. Man.
Thank you. It's been a journey, absolutely. You learn a lot and make some mistakes down the road, but piece by piece, then yeah.
speaking of journey, what were you having before you upgraded to this system?
Well, before this, of course, I incrementally changed things, but before these speakers, I had the Focal Sopra 2s. Before this, I had a pre and power amp from Griffin. I had the Essence, the monoblock Essence. Before that, I had a Dan D'Agostino Momentum Integrated. And in terms of DAC, I started out with a Mola Mola Tambaki, which was both a DAC and a streamer. And yeah, the last piece that is really a little bit, due for upgrading is the streamer. If you look at the context of the system now, the streamer is the weakest link, and that'll be upgraded soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I look forward to listening again once you have the Taiko Olympus in.
Yes,
That's
yes.
going to be amazing.
Yes, I'm very eager to hear that piece. Everybody who has it is incredibly happy with it.
All right, so thanks, Rob. And
thank you too, Terry.
It's been a pleasure to come and check you out, your system, and understand what you've been doing. And it's been a long time coming. Took a while to come here, but
yes,
definitely worth the trip.
Thank you for coming. It was a pleasure meeting you too, Terry. Good luck.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Take care.